Today, the unexpected happens.
What the heck? 12 Charizards in those binders? We're talking some of the Grail cards.
This is all vintage.
Did we just walk in on one of the greatest collection finds of all time?
What's the ballpark range that you're thinking in all this?
Retail on this is about $550,000 to $600,000.
I think I lost consciousness there for a second.
Here's a question for you. If you're gonna find cards in a town like this, I mean, is the newspaper strategy still a thing? Like, does that work in a small town?
Oh yeah. You know, with the newspaper strategy, all it takes is one.
Okay.
Right, you just need that one guy to call you back.
Out of 20 people that read the paper, just one needs to go. Yeah.
But those 20 people that read the paper are the 20 people you want to be dealing
Well,
with.
they got a box in the back room.
Well, anything that we get that has mid-80s stuff, I will happily sell to you. So
Okay, great.
Earlier, Matt said we're 10 minutes away from everything in Abilene. Sure enough, I type it in, and we're 10 minutes away.
I'm dragging.
All right, so we got to get a coffee.
Yeah.
I want to get a medium cappuccino. Can you add an extra shot in there? How many shots that come with?
Did you want to make it 3?
Let's make it 3.
There you go. Proud of you.
He's trying to tell me how much more caffeine a cold brew has.
That's it. 16-ounce cold brew, please.
16 ounce cold brew.
I got to challenge you on something.
Okay.
I can't have you only spending money on junk wax.
Show me something special. I'll throw down.
Can you actually throw down money? Can you spend more money this time?
Yes, I can.
You can't let
Show me
me
something.
outspend you.
I can't believe you're drinking hot coffee when it's 108 outside.
Okay. I wouldn't have expected cards to be in here.
Yeah.
Aaron?
Good to see you, yes sir. Nice
Hi,
to meet you.
man.
Come on,
Thanks so
Tom.
much.
Come
This is
on in.
Ben.
Hey Ben, how you doing, man?
Good to see you.
Man, thanks so much for having us out today.
What do you think about big old Abilene, Texas?
From mountains to flat, this is interesting.
Yeah.
But people are so amazing here.
Yeah,
So
everybody's
gracious.
nice. All right, here it is.
Oh my goodness.
Well, there's
What
what
is
y'all
going
came
on
to
here?
look at.
You got a crew over
Pokemon.
here. Let's.
Yep.
I know Billy.
Yep.
What's up, Billy?
And that's Harley right there,
Harley?
and that's Tiger. So the whole story is Harley's brother talked me into going to a live storage auction deal. So I went, the very first unit I got was exercise equipment, like hammer strength, like all that stuff. And I'm like, oh man, that's awesome. And in my mind, I'm like, man, I didn't bring enough cash. I brought like 500 cash. I'm like, but I really want this. So I was calling to figure out who could bring me some cash. Well, I ended up winning it for $200.
Oh my God.
I found out why later I won it for $200. But I got in there, and I mean, within 10 minutes, I had it sold. Everything but 3 treadmills that I actually still have, taking up a bunch of space. But besides that, 10 minutes, boom, it was all gone.
I can tell this is going to be good. Within 2 minutes of being here, we're already hearing stories of how they hunted down great storage units.
It is a dog-eat-dog world since those shows came out, the Storage Wars and all that several years back. Everybody thinks they can get rich doing this, so it drives the prices of even the garbage units up. And a lot of times you get stuck with exactly that garbage. I mean, most people left that stuff there for a reason. All of this is actually Craig Kemplin, which he won an Emmy on The Simpsons. This is actually his storyboard art.
Wow.
And then some of his original stuff, which, you know, some of it's okay, some of it's a little...
So you were snagging it on Whatnot?
Yeah, I'd buy it in huge lots, and then I took the larger pieces out and had them framed.
Okay, we got storage units and we got Whatnot. I can tell these guys are hustling.
What's a whole box of these cost you?
I think I've probably got about $4,000 in all of this stuff.
Okay, wow.
Probably. This actually came out of one of the storage lockers that Aaron and I bought. That's
Okay.
that's an original Louis Vuitton.
You got that out of a storage unit?
Yeah, sitting in the back.
Like,
it was-
where's that going to end up? How are you going to sell something like that?
I don't know.
Is that going to eBay or something?
Maybe Whatnot. Maybe it goes on eBay and sits there forever until somebody comes along and buys it. Honestly, I don't know.
Louis Vuitton Jordan?
Yeah.
So what is this here?
Okay, so this is the chair I actually bought on a prop store auction. Called my wife, told her I was going to spend a crazy amount of money on it. She asked how much. I asked her what her definition of a crazy amount of money was, and she said $5,000. I said, well, I'm fixing to spend a hell of a lot of money then. It's actually from the movie Green Mile, yeah. Certificate of authenticity. I've got with
That you're
it.
sitting on.
No, you're good. You're good. As long as you didn't wear the cap, the electrocution cap, you're good.
What did you pay for this?
$20,000.
Why are you buying this? Why are you buying these things? What's the end game?
To have stuff nobody else has. The worst thing you can say is you go out with something that you think is super cool and somebody says, yeah, my buddy's got that, or yeah, my friend's got that. Like, no, they don't. Nobody has that.
To have stuff nobody has? I mean, I'm a collector, but I guess I don't take it to that level. Do you?
Like, a lot of the artwork came from estate auctions because, again, the people that show up to estate auctions aren't looking for artwork, and they half the time don't know what it's worth, but there's probably, I don't know, $70,000 worth of artwork hanging on that wall.
It was interesting to get in their heads, the mind of somebody that does that, and to hear that it's basically 90% failure rate. So to just, man, it's from exercise equipment to magazines and art and fashion, it's all over the place. They've got a pretty big appetite to be able to throw down, receive that, move it. It's just not for me, but to talk to guys that do that for a living and just love the dopamine hit, that was fascinating.
You know, I spent an entire weekend from morning till night just hauling trash, you know, hauling at the dump yard, and it was brutal. In fact, I told my girlfriend, I said, I'm done, I'm out.
And the rare instances where somebody passes or a family member inherits something, moves it all to a unit, things like that, you can hit home runs.
So there was one that had artwork in there. It was a little unit, it was climate controlled, and it had artwork. You couldn't see anything, it was all covered up, but it had one piece that was, abstract. So one piece you could see, it was really cool, and I thought, you know what, we just got a house, we just bought a house, instead of having to go out and buy a bunch of artwork, it'd be cool if I won this, and we liked it. So ended up winning that. Well, as soon as you win on those sites, you scroll down to the very bottom of the page, and it shows you other units that are actually in that same place. And I scrolled down to that unit, and there was some camo and stuff like that, like ammo tins and stuff. And I thought, never know. So I got that unit for $400.
The two units he nabbed in the very beginning these two units were absolute home runs. Like, I've never hit a unit like that.
What I didn't know about that unit, I'm glad I didn't know it, or I probably wouldn't have done it. But it was a 10 by 20, and it had, just your typical boxes sealed and stacked all the way to the entire roof, 20 feet back. Like, yeah. Thank God that they let me rent it, so I didn't have to get out there in 2 days, or I couldn't have done it. So
that's the typical rule. You have 48 hours to get it all out.
Some of them are, a day. Some are 48 hours. Just depends.
Okay.
So went and got that art stuff. The art stuff ended up being way, way better than we thought. Like, it was all signed, like original signed and numbered. So I still haven't got it appraised yet, but like really, really good art. Like, we're thinking $20,000, $30,000 worth. Yeah. So then when I went in there, looked at the artwork, the guy was kind of getting dark, and he, cut the lock and, wheeled it up, and that's kind of when we got a flashlight, and I went, oh my gosh. So anyways, fast forward to the next day, and I got my kids down there, and we start pulling stuff out. Well, come across a box, your typical, like the Office Depot top box, that has, you buy the reams of paper in.
Yeah.
Said Pokemon on it. So the youngest one, oh my gosh, Pokemon. I was like, whatever. So literally we got it, just kind of chunked it in the back of the truck, and I think there was 3 or 4 boxes. And so we get home that night, and I go in there and was watching a movie or something, and they, all of a sudden I heard them start screaming, Aaron, oh my gosh. I thought, what in the world is going on? So I went in there, and they're like, look at this card, it's like $10,000. And I'm like, come on, guys.
So Aaron's talking about storage units. He finds one of these with gold nuggets all over the place. Back in my mind, I'm thinking, I gotta get in the storage unit game.
And sure enough, I started looking into it, and I was like, whoa, hold on a second. Like, this is pretty wild. So if it wasn't for Billy, I wouldn't have been able to get all this stuff together.
I just happened to see 5 of his binders of Pokemon in a box of it, and got to talking to him about that then, and in the comics, and I gave him my number, and hey, whenever you want to do something with it, just let me know, and I'll come help you out, dude. I'll organize it and do whatever.
Hold up. Does that guy look familiar? Yes, that is the same Billy from the previous episode of Chasing Cardboard. We've stayed in contact, and now we've crossed paths again.
And then being in that, not knowing a clue about Pokemon, I was overwhelmed, so I just kind of set it aside for a while. So that's kind of where we're at. So we got it all out, got it, went through the whole thing, kind of appraised the whole thing, and so here they are.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that same storage unit, $30,000 in art.
Yes, sir.
And then behind it, boxes of Pokemon cards.
Yeah, so it's kind of weird. They weren't even together in there. So we had we'd pull out 20 boxes and then a box of Pokemon cards.
He's jumping into Pokemon really quick, but I'm ready to go find the sports cards. and start digging. Can you walk and show me
Yeah, absolutely.
this is the stuff that came
This
from the
is
storage
everything.
unit?
This came out of that one storage locker. Every single thing in here came out of the same one.
Oh shoot.
So
this is vintage. This
It's
is
all
like
first edition, and it's all what is it? Base set, the
Yeah.
second print, first print, and second.
what the heck? Dude. 12 Charizards?
That's
think
about
there's-
half of them.
Yeah, that's probably about half of them.
There's Shadowless in there also.
Oh my goodness. You know what? I don't think we need to see sports cards right now. We need to focus on the Pokemon cards in front of us. So with a unit like that, do you get to know the story of the guy before?
I mean, really, just the story, just from what stuff you get out of the boxes. Like
Yeah.
this, you kind of learn their story just a little bit from the boxes. He was a colonel in the military, and so that's why everything was so pristine. Like all the boxes were completely sealed up, like airtight. Like, you know, even Pokemon cards going through it. The guys that know about it were like, "Oh my gosh, man! Like he knew what he was doing."
These are incredible Pokemon cards and they look beautiful. I don't know Pokemon like I know sports cards. I can't flip through and start running a calculator in my head. There's going to be multiple commas in the valuation of this collection. I can already tell that. The sealed stuff alone is pretty spectacular, but in those binders, we're talking some of the grail cards in the Pokemon world. I needed more info on what I was looking at, so I reached out to Danny Phantom to get his opinion.
What Ty and Ben have stumbled upon here is something that's truly special. There's a lot of really cool stuff here, a lot of older stuff, and immediately the thing that really catches my eyes are those theme decks, the sealed booster boxes, and it could range in prices all over the place. You know, you could have some Pokemon cards that are only worth a couple dollars, all the way up to thousands of dollars. You could have error cards that are inside, like Ghost Pikachu, or you could have a no damage Ninetales inside of a Brushfire theme deck. But it really depends on knowing what you're looking for and understanding all the differentials that can happen with the different variants that are involved. Finding stuff that is in pristine condition, finding stuff that is still sealed, finding stuff that has been protected well over the years. That's when you really start getting more bang for your buck, because those are the cards that people really didn't have the foresight back in the day to make sure that they protected. Looking over everything, analyzing condition grading, things like that is so important, because that could be the difference between, you know, a $5 card and a $500 card just on that grading difference. So what an awesome find. This is crazy.
He got a lot of his collection too overseas when he was stationed overseas.
Yeah.
So he
Yeah.
got some of the
There
more
you go.
rare
So maybe
stuff.
some of the Japanese and other countries in
Yeah,
there.
because he had a bunch of like Japanese, you know, different stuff, like collectible stuff in there, and there's Japanese cards in here. So I think when he was down there, he definitely was probably buying some of this stuff.
I'm starting to get some heart palpitations.
Yeah.
I can only imagine
Can
what
imagine
you
me?
were
Yeah,
feeling
can you
like.
imagine that when the kids called and said, "Hey, get in here! Oh my gosh, get in here!" And I came running in there. So that Tiger's probably the first one that did it, and I think it was a Charizard card that you had.
First off, I didn't think I was walking into some historic Pokemon collection, and the first thing they start talking about is Pokemon. So I'm trying to regroup really fast to figure out how to play this. Is there more in a safe? The high-end stuff?
No, this is it.
Okay.
This is it.
Can't get much higher end than this in
No,
Pokemon.
I mean, I've got some other stuff, but it's all newer things that aren't worth anything. This is all vintage. There's nothing here that's, above 1999, 2000.
There are thousands of other items in this room. Pokemon's drawing all my attention. Immediately, I started texting some folks, Chase and Skylar from Chase After the Right Price, Heritage Auctions, letting them know we got something really special here. So I'm gonna have to dial them up pretty quickly and just get a vibe on what I'm looking at. What's the end game here? What are you trying to do with this?
I'm trying to sell it. I'd like to sell it.
All of it at once?
Yeah, the thing is, you know, it'd be cool to kind of hang on to it a little while, and, you know, hopefully the market goes back up like it was 3 years ago, 4 years ago. But it's every time I show this to somebody that really, really enjoys Pokemon, just kind of seeing their face and like how much they enjoy it. So it's just sad that it'll be sitting in a safe, and I think it'd be kind of cool to go somewhere that, you know, that people can show it off, or you know, people can enjoy it. So it'll just be sitting in a safe, locked up.
Yeah.
So that's kind of sucks for this kind of a collection.
I think you mentioned there was an appraiser out here. One of you guys mentioned that. What's the ballpark range that you're thinking in all this?
Retail on this is about $550,000 to $600,000.
$550,000 to $600,000, and that's from who? Who told you that?
We've got a guy here in town that's an expert Pokemon guy. He's owned or worked at stores that sold Pokemon for, I mean, long time. So
This has to be one of the biggest Pokemon discoveries in hobby history.
He told me if somebody were to buy this and actually, take the time to get something that's graded, it'd be well over $1 million. So
I think I lost consciousness there for a second.
Yeah.
Just to recap, $550,000 was the appraisal from a guy
sir.
you had come in. Did he try to buy it?
no, he didn't try to buy it. He wants to. Yeah, he would love
He's
to.
like, I can't write a check to get close to that.
I don't think his wife would let him sell the house. So
Spoiler alert, you're gonna wanna wait until after the credits because we have a special announcement to make about this collection. You're not gonna wanna miss it. Back to the episode. Well, I'm gonna have to start calling and texting some people really fast.
Right,
We have some
okay.
guys on speed
Great.
dial we can call. All right, so I'm gonna give Chase after the right price, Pokemon video game expert, Pokemon expert, and let's see what he says on initial photos.
Hey,
There he is, family and all.
what's up? That's
How are-
right, on a golf cart ride.
Oh, look at you. Did I catch you at a good time? Can you give me 2 minutes?
Yeah,
Did you see that video I sent you?
I did. Insane.
What were you seeing there?
Well, that's a lot more than I would have ever expected to see in a Pokemon collection that you just happen to be seeing. But
Yeah.
definitely the booster boxes are the biggest item of intrigue. But a ton of packs. I mean, the singles were a surprise with how many Charizards were there?
12 or 13.
Goodness. Did the condition look good on the singles or?
They looked really good. I didn't examine them super close yet, but they looked pretty good, man. What's one of those booster boxes go for? What's the kind of the retail on one of those?
I feel like some of the early base set ones are going to be 5 figures. Like the base set ones, even base set 2 might be in that range. I couldn't tell on your video if the jungle and the fossil were first edition or unlimited. Do you know?
They were first edition, yeah.
Yeah, so those are probably in that range too.
I don't even know what he's thinking, but he did say he had someone come in and appraise it at just over 500 grand.
Oh dang, there is a lot of risk to that stuff.
Yeah.
Even the booster boxes, I hate that there's no BBCE or any good authenticators for it. Unless one of those base set 1 boxes is first edition. I don't think they were first edition though.
I don't think so either.
I would guess somewhere between 100 and 200,000 just on what I saw.
Okay. He was confirming a little bit of how I was feeling. That's why I asked, hey, where is there more stuff here? Because $500,000, I mean, you got to have some big boys at $500,000. I wasn't seeing it in the singles, ungraded. I wasn't seeing it in the sealed, unauthenticated. So we're going to have to investigate that a little more. We're going to call Heritage real quick and get a vibe on what maybe they're thinking from the initial videos I sent and see if they're giving a different opinion on it.
You know, a lot of times when I go look at stuff like that, when it comes to Pokemon, it's usually kind of like looking at junk wax, where it's 98% of it's just usually hardly nothing ever there.
Yeah.
That one right there, everything is sellable.
What's your gut say and kind of overall market value of a collection like that?
Oh, well, dude, that's really hard to tell from what we're seeing there.
Yeah.
You know, it could be a couple $100,000 sitting there. It could be 500 depending on what cards in there and if they all start grading 10s.
Yeah.
Or we could be at $100,000 there. I feel like from just looking at the picture from, really bad images and stuff like that, I feel like 100K is pretty a safe number if I want to go super safe and conservative.
I got to talk to Ben about this too. So Chase is saying, hey, this is great stuff. The sealed stuff looks great. I think it's somewhere around 70 to 80 grand. That's what he thinks retail value is on that. He's saying the individual cards, the singles, look good. They look good. There's no first edition Charizards, which are the big boy cards, but there's lots of cards in there that could grade well, but there's a lot of coulds and maybes.
That's right. There's a lot of risk there.
Yeah, and so the range that we've gotten from Chase is somewhere between 100 and 200,000. That's the range where he thinks retail could end up in there. You carry a lot of risk.
Yeah, I think one of the challenges too is he's hearing from other people about big retail values, and so in his mind, it's a lot more than what it really is. So we're pretty far apart on what we're hearing from our people and what he's hearing from his friends.
Yeah.
How would you approach this conversation? Would you be willing to purchase if you had the money? What are the risks that you see? And should we just walk away? These are some of the questions that we're battling at this exact moment.
So I guess first and foremost, This is one heck of a story.
Pretty crazy.
I
right?
feel honored to kind of be here with the story.
Thank
So
y'all for
thank you
coming.
for
Yeah.
bringing us into
Absolutely.
it. You know, this is one of those like fairy tale stories.
You're telling me, yeah.
Yeah, so it's pretty special. I mean, you're going to be talking about this the rest of your life. So we're super thankful for that.
Yeah.
You probably could tell pretty quickly. My eyes got big, thinking that is crazy stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm normally right on top of things with sports. Pokemon's a different world.
We're in the same boat, man.
Yeah.
Same boat.
So I was scrambling hard. I was texting all the big boys that I know in the hobby. And the Pokemon side, like, help me understand what I'm looking at.
Right.
What's the right way to approach it? And I got good feedback. So we reached out to Heritage Auctions. We reached out to a buddy of ours, Chase, who runs a channel called Chase After the Right Price. Super large video game Pokemon guy who's been in the space for a long time.
Very cool.
Just running comps.
Yeah.
Sealed stuff is super easy to comp.
Yeah.
You know, it would help if it was authenticated.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's always
For sure.
the risk you run, right?
Yeah,
On a
absolutely,
$10,000 box, it's hard to sell unless it's authenticated.
Sure.
But we were able to run pretty quick numbers on that. The single stuff, it gets a little funky because grading dictates everything. We've talked to Heritage, we've talked to some guys. You said perfect scenario for you to sell it all. Do you have an appetite, or would you be open to separating the sealed boxes with the single cards?
Yeah. I mean, I'd entertain
You
that.
consider it?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have an appetite to sell this off yourself, piecing it out, maximizing value? Like, would you do it if you had to?
If I had to, but yeah, that would just, yeah. I mean, again, I'd entertain anything at this point in time. So
Okay.
I'm open for anything, but obviously my first choice would be getting rid of it all. And then, you know, separating it out. But doing individually, that kind of takes away from the, you know,
Yeah.
from the whole set kind of deal. So
Okay.
I'd have to think about that, or at least get a really good offer on something individually.
Okay.
So, because I think that's kind of part of the, you know, glamour of it is there's so much, you know, there's so many good things together.
Yeah.
You know, so once I start piecing them out, it kind of takes away from the
Right.
the whole puzzle. So, or at least that's how I see it. I'm not a,
Yeah.
you know, I'm not an expert in Pokemon. So,
Okay. So we came at this with really three options.
okay,
One, we find a buyer for you.
okay,
And we tried to do that, and we got varying numbers.
yeah,
Two, just connect you with Heritage.
okay,
Just say, hey, look, we got a great one for you. You're local enough to where Heritage can get involved. Or three, let's just write a check
yeah,
and buy it all. I just looked at Ben and I realized I might be turning him into a flipper. This is so good. And so we've tried to validate each of these to see which one makes the most
Right.
sense. We'll start with the first. The first, any big buyer remotely is not going to write the check you want without seeing those cards.
oh, for sure, yeah,
They want to look at them. They want to get a feel, because you got to get 9s and 10s, 7s and 8s and stuff. They're valuable, but you end up getting eaten up by the grading cost.
Right.
You know, so you got to have high end stuff. And so that's one of those like, hey, I'll take the sealed stuff,
right,
and it's got to be a super sweetheart deal on the graded stuff, because I
Right.
can't carry that much risk. I mean, the single stuff, I can't carry that much risk. Heritage is very interested. That's an easy phone call. We can connect you with them. The range they gave is 100,000 to 200,000. They said that we feel really comfortable saying, like, you can sell it all for 100, upside of 200.
okay,
It's all going to come down to grading for
Right.
them, and they would wrap that all into the cost. They would spread it out over a 3 to 6 month period,
okay,
and they would obviously prioritize the high end stuff for you and get it sold really fast.
yeah, yeah,
We would just wash our hands and say, good luck. I hope you crush it.
Yeah.
Which is totally fine. Option 3 is we buy it. So I laid out the options, and these are really the only 3 options that we felt were practical for him. The reason you lay this stuff out is to get a read on the temperature of the room, and it's getting a little warm in here. We validated what we could on the sealed stuff, and the stuff on that table, we got 2 different people saying it's between 70 and 80 grand. $70,000 to $80,000 is what you can sell that sealed stuff on the left side. The packs would come down to, and that could swing 10 grand depending on how they weigh.
yeah.
We talked about
Right.
that outside a little
Yeah.
bit. Super weird thing in Pokemon. It's
Oh,
it's
I've
not
heard
weird like
so
it is in
many-
sports cards.
Yeah, I've heard so many scenarios to the full pack, if where it was sealed, like the little stamps or whatever on the full pack, if they're long versus short, and
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many different brands. It depends on who you ask too. So one person will say, you know,
Totally.
it's first edition if it has this, and another guy will say, no, that's not right. It's first edition if it weighs this, or so that's what's been so hard for me, is because, you know, not being in this game, it just blows my mind, the different variants and the different ways people, you know, do this stuff. So I mean, hats off to the true Pokemon, you know, people out there, because this is that's a tough thing to do.
Yeah.
Like baseball and stuff, I consider it to be a lot easier than Pokemon. So people that do that kind of stuff and they know about it, and they're passionate about it, and that's, like I told you earlier, that's kind of why I want to sell it, because I want people out there to be able to enjoy some of this stuff.
Yeah.
So you know, when I put this stuff out on Reddit, and you know, the thousands and thousands of people that email me back, you know, a lot of it was hate. A lot of it, most everybody thought I was lying. I had to actually take another picture and, like, you know, put some numbers down there that they had told me to put, you know, kind of deal, just to kind of show that it was real. And but just the amount of people that said, wow, this is incredible. I would give anything to see, you know, to have something like that. You know, a lot of people just, oh my gosh, just to have, you know, one of the Charizard or one of the sealed boxes is, you know, that would be incredible.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what's got me in my mindset of, you know, it's great. You know, I could hang on to it for another few years. Maybe the price would go up, but it's just going to sit in a safe. So,
yeah,
you know, and I'd kind of like people to be able to enjoy it.
Yeah,
So,
I'm very much the same as you. We both have a lot of vintage cards that go back to the late 80s, 1890s. There's a history in sports cards.
Yeah.
You know, like that market feels
yeah,
stable.
that's super cool. Yeah.
The vintage is 1999.
Right.
Would you feel comfortable writing a check for $125,000 today?
Yeah. I'd split it with you.
You'd split it?
If we had that much upside, I'd be into that.
You take the risk at 125K?
For a 250 upside, it's a pretty good day, sure.
Let's just assume these guys are right, and that's $80,000 in retail value. Okay. Then we have to decide, okay, what are we willing to risk if we were to write a check for everything over there in the single side? Those guys, again, the experts that we talk to, anywhere between 100 and 200 total. Our offer in cash, or not cash, but writing a check for you today is $125,000
For
everything.
Okay.
We carry the risk. You walk away and take 125 grand.
The first step is you got to be close. The mechanics of what happens after that comes secondary, but just getting close, can we get close to how you perceive what it's worth and what we think it is? So that's kind of the first question.
Sure, absolutely.
You feel like that's close?
Yeah. Okay.
You said 400 early on.
Yeah.
So that was the number I threw out to these guys. I said, help me get to 400. Help me justify where Aaron is. No one was close. Or like, dude, do not take that risk at that price.
I get it.
You will get crushed. It was very consistent in like high end of 200. So if I'm looking at high end 200, maybe it swings a little higher with super high grades. Like 125 is a very healthy number.
Yeah.
So
you want an answer from me?
well, no, you don't. I mean, I'm just letting you know where we stand.
Yeah.
If you're like, forget that, dude.
Yeah.
I'll go sell it at Heritage. All good. I get where you're coming from. This is insanely cool stuff. But if we're gonna make a play on it,
sure, I
that's where we feel like, okay, that's safe enough, but risky enough,
right?
To go
absolutely, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I probably would pass on the 125.
I'm gonna be honest. I said 125,000, and as I said it, I thought, I really hope he says no. Okay.
So that's not the numbers I got. And again, you know, this isn't just from the guy that came to Abilene. Like I've, you know, done my research and I've sent pictures to people and stuff too. So, and again, you're 100% right. Like, you know, it depends on what it grades at. But I feel pretty confident in a lot of that stuff's gonna grade at a 9 or 10. So, you know, I might just take the leap myself and start getting some of this stuff graded. That's what me and Harley had talked about earlier.
Yes.
You know, kind of stepping out there and just putting some money on the table and getting a bunch of it graded and coming back and, you know, and then selling it. Maybe then y'all can come back down for another show when we have everything graded.
Yeah.
So, but I'm not, I mean, the heritage thing, I'm not saying no to that. I don't really understand the aspects of it or how that would work, but.
Yeah, the disadvantage there is the time frame. It stretches out.
Yeah.
They're going to cherry pick the good stuff. You're going to be left with the things that they don't want to sell on the site. But it's an easy way to do it, to say, cut me the check 60 days from now.
Yeah. Once they get it graded and everything and they kind of see what it is.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and again, we're happy to give you the name.
Okay.
You know, we'll connect you with Jeremy over there. He'll get
Yeah.
his team out here and
Absolutely.
really help you understand that stuff.
Yeah.
Maximize your value.
Very cool.
We get in these situations, and these guys spend a lot of time with us. They spent their afternoon with us, and so we feel the obligation. If we're not going to get the deal done on our end, we're going to give them some options. And so presenting them a few options is the right thing to do. So here's a couple things that stood out to me today. Number one, we've learned the grades that you think you're going to get aren't what you're going to get.
Sure. Yep.
You know, 9s and 10s seem like everything should be a 9 and 10. And
Yeah.
then you look in the back, okay, there's some chipping here. That's going to be an 8.
Right.
With cards of that degree, they're extremely particular.
Are they? Okay.
That's why the Jordan Rookie's the hardest to get a gem in, because they know like that's the most valuable card you can have in basketball. So just lower your expectations so you set the floor right. Explore grading companies. Beckett doesn't upcharge you, and you get a 10 in the Beckett, it's worth more than the PSA 10. Yeah, and I guess the third thing I'll say is find an expert.
Yeah.
You don't want to do this for a living, man. This is going to take
Come on, that was my idea, man.
40 hours a week for the
Right.
next 3 months, and you're going to be like still frustrated. Like,
Right.
find the expert, find the company to do it for you, take your percentage and roll. We get so many calls. We're like, hey, 60 days later, you know what? Actually, can we do the deal?
Yeah, can we do the
Like,
deal?
dude.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you're going to crush it, but find an expert.
Yeah.
Bank on them.
Yeah. So would you get them? I mean, what would you do? Would you get somebody to come in? I mean, is there people you can pay to come in, not necessarily grade it, but like look at it, just kind of give you, overall appraisal, like a real appraisal? Is there somebody that does that?
Yeah, you could do that. I mean, they're going to want a piece of the action.
Sure.
Right? I mean, they're going to want a piece of the action. Yeah, I tried to tell you this earlier. Like, you have no idea how much you're going to spend in grading there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, you are $50K at least.
Yep. Yeah.
And then you're going to think, okay, I put $50K in already. Now what do I do?
Right. Yeah, it's. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just I guess I'm gonna talk to Heritage and see what they say and see what direction they want to go. Or
yeah.
I mean, I don't see myself spending 8-10 hours a day, going through these and sending them off, getting graded myself, or all of them at least. I might pick a few here and there or something, but that's a lot of work.
Feel free to hit us up. We'll connect you with
Absolutely.
people we know.
Okay.
Make it easy for you.
Be really
We'll
cool
send
to
you the
go.
information for Jeremy, but
Okay.
Don't feel too much like this is a problem. It's a great opportunity, man. Congratulations. This is great.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah, heck yeah.
It's been fun.
Gentlemen, thank you so
Man,
much.
thank you,
Eric.
Ty. I appreciate it,
Tiger,
man.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Carly,
Man, I appreciate it. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I was a little bit disappointed because it would have been a fun adventure, but there's also some relief there because it is in my world and there's some risks that I don't know about. So it was mixed emotions.
Yeah.
But what a good time.
Such
Awesome
good
guys.
dudes. Such good dudes. You're 0 for 2.
I know.
We got one more tonight. If you don't pull a checkbook out and buy something tonight, I think you might as well forget about coming back.
Bring me
with
to a
us.
good opportunity and I'll throw down. We'll see what happens.
All right, so this last collection is the reason we're even here in Abilene, Texas. A gentleman named Robert reached out to us and said, come buy me out because I want to put some money into other things that we're doing in the family. We said, yeah, this is the collection we have to come see. Vintage galore.
Let's go. I'm ready.
I'm going to guess it's probably worth about $6K.
All right, this is one of my favorite cards of all time.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's a huge one.
Man, this right here, this is just my jam.
$1,500. I don't know.
This all Brady? We're really close, but if you can budge a little bit, then I think we'll probably get the deal done. Every card has significance in this collection.
Yeah, he said he's cleaned out some of the edges. Everything was like center of the bullseye.
I'm gonna be honest here, I'm a little nervous negotiating against a car salesman. Man, I hope you enjoyed that episode. We had so much fun filming it, hanging out with Aaron and the crew in Abilene, Texas. Now, obviously the collection didn't work out for us. It was our first 6-figure offer, but we're not Pokemon experts and we were shooting from the hip for most of the day. But an update on the collection. Aaron and crew did not consign the collection with Heritage for various reasons. And because of that, the cards and the sealed wax are all still available for sale. If you are interested in purchasing any of that stuff, Aaron is making his information available to you. All you have to do is click the link in the show notes and you'll have the ability to email Aaron. Hopefully you work out something, some awesome deal for any Pokemon collectors or investors out there. But while I have you, be sure to click the like button on this episode if you loved it. And if you love chasing cardboard, go share the show on your social media channels. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all of that matters and goes a long way in allowing us to keep doing what we do. We appreciate all of you. Keep chasing.